Changing the perception of sort of what languages belong in that school. Because this is a school that's very proud of how sort of multicultural its student body is. But if you go to their library, you probably don't find any book besides English. And even when we started working in this classroom, we just sort of introduced ourselves and we said which languages we spoke. And when they introduced themselves, they never mentioned that they spoke English. So we had to tell them, you also speak English.
There were not so many Polish speakers around, so she was quite isolated. She was one of those, few people who grew up in some rural areas where there were not many foreign people at all. So she didn't want to speak Polish, she refused to speak Polish. Although, her mom tried to teach her, but because of that, because she was stigmatized for being from a different country, she just refused. Now it's back to her, so she feels now that she missed some important part of her personality by not learning Polish.
You work with children and ask them to do linguistic ethnography. I just wondered if you could say a couple of words about it, because I think it fits very nicely in different ways.
Different ways of speaking, ways of communicating, emoji, etc. etc. So they're very visual and very. We also looked at languages you speak different languages in maths, the language you don't speak in Slovene. So the kids came up with these ideas themselves.
When I asked them to say why they want to learn English, I had replies: because I want to feel as a human again, because I want to be treated as a person again. So it's not the question whether I can speak my native language. It's the question the other way around. I cannot speak English, so I'm not human. I don't feel like a well-developed citizen in the place where I live.
Isn't that a bit, you're operating from a deficit model? So by not having English, it's as if they don't have any language. So even though they have this other rich language. So how do you sort of, and I understand because there's a balance you have to, from respecting where they come from, but also maybe giving them a tool that will make their lives easier.
These people may not have great English skills anyway, and that's quite a reductionistic summary of how they feel. And if, as native English speakers, we can interpret what's going on behind that. They don't feel they can be a fully functional member of the society in which they live now. That English does open that door for them to be who they were, wherever they were before.
We talked about different things in nature, like trees and flowers and grass and branches and twigs and whatever. And we wrote the words for those in lots of different languages, and we drew pictures, and we listened to each other's languages and tried to pronounce each other's words for a tree or whatever, and it was a lot of fun. And then we took all those parcel tags out into a local community garden, and we hung them on the trees or the branches or the leaves or whatever. And it was a way of saying, like, this is who we are, we speak all these different languages, it's an asset, let's celebrate it and let's show our community that this is something that's a good thing and not just like a lack of English.
People who live on islands where there's one dominant language, there's just a different fundamental reality to your experience to people who grow up on continents like Europe and Africa, where there's just so many different countries around that growing up multilingual is just as natural as breathing. It doesn't make some realities easier when we live in any of these major island states, but it's just another factor to bear in mind.
So they looked at the objects and they looked at where they came from, and then they thought about the journey of the materials that those objects were made from, and how those objects would have travelled to London, and the languages they would have heard on the journey to London. And so the students, because they weren't having to write in a kind of linear fashion, they were actually mapping and just making languages like that. They were working together. They went through the countries where people in their class knew the different languages and charted them. And then when they got to England, they were stuck in a box and weren't allowed to speak.
Yeah, I think it's a good moment to move towards our practical session.
Like this.
But the best thing is that I do this, my parents do this.
It's very short, and you can see it
that's
around,
really
so it's like beautiful.
But that's again,
because people are just beginning to use
making
their
the
languages.
activities relevant. They already had quite good level of English, but I believe that this project has been adjusted to
Students learn better when you make learning fun.
Focus on the stress pattern, the rhyming, the rhythm.
Det så säger en Swedish, det säger finns det hjärterum så finns det stjärterum.
and it's really alluded
I'm still
to
trying to
my
get employers and employability.
Yeah, so let's get to
So maybe there's that.
So yes, motivation. Yeah, I think I don't know why social media jumps in there, but it's got to be somewhere around here. It is good. But
settings when they actually need to use the language. They have some subject, but they are forced to use the language. It's also a way to go and to do activities and change the settings a little bit, make the learning more meaningful for them as well.
Really lack language, or maybe lack of confidence, or maybe some other things that we just that are not discussed, not being addressed. And we also talked about structural limits and how institutions restrict the way we can teach languages in terms of ESOL or schools.
She was ahead of the concept of Boko Haram, which means Western education is evil. Yes. So a lot of them don't see the reason why should they learn English language. They don't see it as important. They don't even want to associate with it. Some intentionally close their heart to it. They refuse to learn it. Maybe by the time I'm done with my analysis, I will suggest some ways if they are implemented. It might help, especially if you start at the early stage where they are still kids. Of course, when they've not crossed the critical age, it's easier then. But the greater thing is their philosophy, their attitude towards the language. If they can work on that, then their English will improve.
You gotta be free to feel real freedom. Listen to me, brother, I went to the heavens and back, so I know for a fact that your fear isn't a factor. It won't affect ya if you reflect on. I love you loving and you groove it, cause when your body gets a move it, and then your mind will start tuning to the rhythm of the funk.